Hey folks, Matt here. I'm going to demonstrate how to tie my version of a peacock and orange, not to be mistaken with another fly of the same name. This is a jig fly, I use it while Euro nymphing. I typically tie this one and use it during the fall months when the October Caddis is hatching and coming out. It's really productive for me. So I'd like to demonstrate it for you. I already got the thread started and I'm using Ultra Thread Burnt Orange and 70 denier. I'm using a tungsten gold bead and I'm using a firehole stick number 516 in a size 14. So we'll start off here now by tying in the tail. And you want it, I'm using Coq de Leon. It's kind of an orange color to this. Any color really works. In fact, the tail probably wouldn't even be necessary on it, but I like to tie a tail in it. You want to tie it fairly sparse, kind of like Perdigon style. Make it I like to make mine just about the same length as the body. So let's put this in here. Get a good wrap, make sure it's centered on the hook. I like to wrap it all the way up on the body of the fly to get it to come into the back of the slotted bead. Kind of helps position it while I wrap through the rest of the material on the body. Like that. And bring your thread back. Make one more pass to the front. Okay, and then trim those little ends off. Now, we're going to add, for the body, it's UTC Sparkle Braid in peacock color midge size. And this will be the body. So tie this in right behind the bead. And then make sure when you secure, you go all the way back to just short of the tail. You want to leave just a tiny orange tag off the end. And then bring your thread back up. Okay, now you want to put a little half hitch in to secure where you're at. The one complaint about a lot of flies is that when they're working, they just don't seem to last long enough without falling apart. So I try to fix that problem by putting a little bit of head cement under this material. Okay, now we got that. Now let's wrap the sparkle braid all the way back up to the bead. Okay, now we're going to want to secure that in, same as the CDL, my fibers. You tie it in, get this secured in just right, and that piece will go in to the bead and help secure the bead in the proper position. Make another wrap. Same as before, we'll put a half hitch in it. Now comes the fun part. We're going to add an orange collar to this fly. And to do so, we need to use a dubbing loop by splitting the thread. So to do this, you're going to want to make sure that your thread is unwound. And using 70 denier thread is a little tricky to split it. It doesn't necessarily always split evenly. But a secret is to make sure that you're unwound. I'm sure there's probably other better ways to do this, but this is how I learned. If anybody has a better way of doing this, please, by all means, tell me. There, that seems to be pretty good. Then I like to take something flat and kind of rub it out. Okay, then I take my handy little stone faux thread splitter, put it in there and split my thread. It wasn't exactly all around all the way. And now I'm going to use some orange UV dubbing. It's in October Caddis orange color. You don't want a whole bunch of it. You can build this color to your liking. I find that it's quite easy to overdress a fly when you're tying it. So let's spin this up. You don't want to spin it up too tight because we do want to make a collar with it. Okay, now we'll build the collar, and as you're wrapping this on, keep pulling your fibers back. And it's okay if it's long, because you can pull this down when you're done. Okay, now we got that. Now let's make a few wraps. Okay, we got that on there. A couple more wraps. Now let's add just a tiny bit of head cement to the thread. And now let's whip finish this to finish it. Okay. Make sure it's snugged up, and let's do it one more time. Leave a little bit of an orange, kind of a hot spot in front of that. A little different color than the orange collar. Trim your thread off. Okay, now get a hold of the fly and the dubbing and pull all the loose stuff and all the longer stuff that's not really necessary on it. You want it to be just shy of the length of the tail, and then take a little tool it can be Velcro or whatever, and brush that collar out. I like to brush it back toward the tail and then brush it toward the bead, and then brush it back, and it kind of helps it to flare up. And there it is. Fished in the riffles and deeper pools during the October caddis hatches. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.